Hello, and welcome to this conscious parenting guide to raising children, toddlers aged 2 to 5 years old. Now we're going to move into the fourth pillar, which is validation of needs and emotions. And what I want you to understand here is that children have more needs than just their physical needs. And unfortunately, throughout history, we have considered that if a person is physically healthy, that they are fine. And this is why we hear statements such as, I was raised that way and I am fine. I also hear all the time, or I see all the time in those Facebook groups, those community Facebook pages, which are full of mums that are not all aligned in their thinking, is things like mothers who have their baby and they're really struggling to get their baby to sleep. And you see mothers responding there saying things like, they have been fed, they have clean nappy, they are warm enough, they will just go to sleep. You can just leave them to cry knowing they have everything they need. When in fact, they absolutely do not have everything they need. Your child can be crying because they have a need that is unmet. A need for safety, a need for comfort, a need for connection, and a need to have their feelings validated. All humans have these needs. And the reason it's so important to understand that we need to validate a child's needs and emotions is so that when they grow up, they know that their needs and emotions are important, that they shouldn't be bottling everything up, they shouldn't be suppressing their feelings. They should, in fact, be able to feel validated that their feelings are valid. And this is how we are going to practice validating our children's feelings, a skill that is vital for their development, for not only improving their mental health skills, their resilience, their problem-solving skills, their decision-making skills, but also their emotional intelligence. And we're going to do this by age group. So the first age group is 2 to 3 years old. And this is how we're going to do it. I can see that you are angry, labeling the emotion. It's okay to be angry, okaying the emotion. We all do sometimes, normalizing the emotion. It made your body feel hot. And you could see this because they were sweating. You're describing how it made their body feel. And you wanted to hit things. Hitting is a very normal bodily response to anger. It is something that your children are likely to do when they move into the amygdala part of the brain as a fight response. And I know I've mentioned this before, but you need to know that your child hitting isn't an act of them being naughty. In fact, it is an act of the amygdala being ignited. And it is something that is a teachable moment. When we then move on to the 3 to 4 year age group, we're going to just be shifting a small bit of the answers or a small bit of the responsibility over to them at this age because they're able to better verbalize, they're able to better understand. So it would look like, how are you feeling? Getting them to identify their own emotion. They've had heaps of practice of you identifying the emotion, and now they get the chance to identify the emotion themselves. It's okay to feel that way. Again, normalizing and okaying the emotion. So do I when ... This makes them feel human. It makes them understand that all emotions are human because mum or dad also feels these emotions when they don't get their way. Then how did it make your body feel? This is where they are starting to describe and identify the way emotions feel. For me, when I feel angry, I feel this like fiery ball in the center of my chest. And the significance of me knowing what anger feels like in my body is that I can identify it early. I can feel that fiery ball buzzing away, and I can then employ self-regulation skills in order to stop it from bubbling over. That's what we want to do for our kids here. This is why we are asking them how it made their body feel. They can then visualize, is it a fiery ball? Is it droplets of sweat when it's not even a hot day? What is it that their body feels when they get angry? Do they get stiff, for instance? And then finally, what did we do to make ourselves feel better? And you can help them with this. It could be that they did some deep breaths. It could be that they pushed against the wall as hard as they possibly could because that helped them release that anger. Now that we're moving into the 5+ years group, we are moving from not just the how and what, but to the why questions. And these questions are just a little bit more advanced, so we leave them till that 5+ age group. This is what it's going to look like validating their feelings. How are you feeling? They are labeling their emotions again. Why did you feel that way? They get to then practice identifying their own triggers. What is it that annoys me so much that I get angry? What are the things, what are the behaviors of other people? What are the actions of myself? What are the things that make me feel this way? And this is something that we all, a lot of us, struggle with as parents, is that we never had the opportunity to figure out what it was that really triggers us. And now that we're parents ourselves, we find that we have a lot of triggers in our children's behaviors. And we have to start practicing identifying or labeling, why is it that I feel that way? We're going to keep practicing it ourselves, but we're going to give our children the opportunity to practice it as well. And then moving on from that, what can we do to make you feel happy again? And this is the most important part of building emotionally intelligent children who have impeccable mental health skills. Because the idea of building mental health skills, building resilience, is showing our children, teaching our children, and allowing our children the opportunity to understand how they move from sadness, anger, frustration, negative emotion, to a positive emotion, to happy. How did they do that? Being able to move from a negative to a positive emotion is going to be so beneficial for your child's mental health for the rest of their life. It allows them to know that actually, I do have strategies and I do have things in place that I can use when I'm not feeling great in order to make myself feel happy again. This is one of the most important skills in order to avoid depression, for instance, because we're not stuck in this negative state. We're actually able to move across to a happy state again. And how do I do that? What things have I been doing my entire life that I know are proven to help me become happy again? So when we validate our children's feelings, we're giving them more than just the validation of their feelings. We're giving them this holistic health view that is going to benefit them for the rest of their lives.